Cambridge IGCSE, February-March 2020, Paper 22. Solutions for question 26 to 30. Question 26. A converging lens can be used as a magnifying glass. What will be the nature of the image? So here you need to list out the nature of the image formed by a converging lens. This is a direct question and you need to learn the properties of image formed by converging lens. The first point you can identify even from the question, because the converging lens, it's mentioned it can be used as a magnifying glass. So magnifying glass means the image will be definitely enlarged and the image formed by the converging lenses will be always virtual and upright. So the correct answer is option D. Question 27. The wavelength of blue light changes from 4.7 into 10 to the power minus 7 meter to 3.5 into 10 to the power minus 7 meter as it passes from air to water. What is the speed of the light in water? In this question, wavelength of blue light in air is given, that is, let it be lambda air, and wavelength of blue light in water is also given, let it be lambda water. You need to find the speed of the light in water. Here the important point you need to know that the frequency of the light remains constant. Doesn't matter the light wave is traveling in air or water, the frequency of the blue light will be same. Now, in order to find the speed of light in water, we can use the wave equation. That is, V is equal to frequency times wavelength. So here, when the wave is in air, the same equation you can write, the speed of light in air times frequency times the wavelength of light in air. Likewise, you can write the same equation when the light is in water. So the same wave equation, but when it is in water, you will get the speed of light in water will be equal to the frequency of light, which will be constant in both air and water, times the wavelength of light in water. As frequency is not changing whether it's in air or water, so we don't have to use F air or F water because it's same, so you can use common letter F. Now we can substitute the values where the speed of light in air, that is a constant value which you are supposed to know, that is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second, and the lambda in air is also given in the question, that is 4.7 into 10 to the power minus 7 meter, and lambda of water is given 3.5 times 10 to the power minus 7 meter. Then you need to find V, or the velocity of light in water. Now you have all the values. You can substitute these values in the equation. So you will get velocity in air, that is 3 into 10 to the power 8 is equal to frequency times wavelength of light in air, which is 4.7 into 10 to the power minus 7. Likewise, the second equation, that is the velocity of light in water, which we don't know, we need to calculate, so let's keep like that, is equal to frequency times the wavelength of light in water is also given. We can substitute 3.5 into 10 to the power minus 7. Now we have two equations. Let the equation 1 be 1 and the second equation I put like, I call it 2. Now you have to do, you just divide 1 over 2, the equation 1 divided with equation 2. So when you divide, you will get the equation 1, that is 3 into 10 to the power 8 is equal to F times 4.7 times 10 to the power minus 7. You have to divide with the second equation, that is velocity of water equal to F times 3.5 times 10 to the power minus 7. LHS and RHS you can divide separately. As you can see, frequency is common in both. You can cancel it out. Now look at the equation where velocity of light in water is the only unknown. So in order to find velocity of light in water, you just need to make this as the subject of the equation. So you can rearrange the equation in a way that the velocity of light in water will become numerator. So you have to take it to the other side. So you will get velocity of light in water is equal to 3 into 10 to the power 8 times 3.5 into 10 to the power minus 7. This will come to the numerator and this will come to the denominator, and velocity of light in water will again go to the other side numerator. So you will get like this, and the final equation of velocity of light in water will be 2.2 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. Hence, the correct answer is option C. Question 28. The diagram shows compressions and rarefactions in air as a sound wave moves from left to right. A quieter sound of the same frequency is made. What will happen to the number of particles in the region of rarefaction and in the region of compression? Now, when you read the question, you can understand the sound is now quieter, or we can say the loudness has reduced. And we know that the loudness represents amplitude, or louder a sound wave means its amplitude will be higher, or quieter a sound wave means the amplitude will be lower. So in this case, it's mentioned the sound is now quieter, so that the amplitude will be lesser comparing to the before sound wave. That means at compression, the amplitude or the maximum height will be less, so that the number of particles at compression will reduce. So what will happen to these particles when they are reducing from the compression region, or these particles are moving out to the rarefaction region? So as a result, the particles in the rarefaction region will increase comparing to the before, and the particles in the compression region will reduce because there are some losses of particles from compression to rarefaction. So the particles in rarefaction will increase, at the same time the particles in compression decrease, because the particles in compression represent the higher amplitude, which represent the louder the voice, but here it is just opposite, the voice is quieter. Hence the correct answer is option C. It says at rarefaction the particles is increasing and at compression the particles are decreasing. Question 29. The diagram shows three different metal rods P, Q and R inside coils of wire. Small iron nails are placed on a wooden bench under the rod. Diagram 1 shows the situation when there are electric current in the wire. Diagram 2 shows the situation when the currents are switched off. Which row correctly identifies the metal rod? That is the question. Now look at the figures. In diagram 1, it says the current is flowing through the coil. So you have learned when there is a current flowing through the coil will become electromagnet. So through all the coils there is a current flowing, so all the coils will become electromagnet. Now there are some metals inserted inside these electromagnets, or inside this coil. But by looking at the figure, the rod P, which is still not attracting this iron nails. So since it is iron nails, it is supposed to attract to any magnet. But here P is not a magnet. This is what you have to conclude. Since P is not a magnet, iron nails are not getting attracted to the rod P. That means you have mainly given three possible metal rods. One is copper, second one is soft iron, and third one is steel. Now you have to look at the magnetic property of each metals, and you should check the diagram again, and you have to analyze which metal is more proper in each diagram. So let's look at the first option, or we can look at this here. Figure P is showing even though the coil is electromagnet, since the current is flowing through it, still the P is not become a magnet. That means P must be a metal which is having the least magnetic property. Even though it is associated with the electromagnet, still it is not getting magnetized. So that we can check out of these three metals, which one is having a least magnetic property? So you can understand that is nothing but copper. Copper is having the least magnetic property. So definitely the first object must be must be copper. That's why even though it is surrounded by a electromagnet, still it is not magnetized. That is the reason it is not attracting the iron nails. Now let's look at option the metal Q and R. Here you can see when the current in the coil is on, these both Q and R coils are electromagnet. At that time Q and R become magnets. That's why they are attracting the iron nails kept under them. But now you have to look at the diagram 2. The moment the current is switched off, out of Q and R, the nails which were attracted to Q, the moment the current switch off, removes from Q. But in R, it is still attracted. That means even though the current has stopped, this metal, the metal which made with the R, has a magnetic property. That means R is a metal which is having a higher magnetic property. That's why even the current switch off, still it is having the magnetic property to attract the iron nails. Now we can check which one is having more magnetic property, and that is nothing but steel. So this one must be steel. Now look at the option Q, because the moment it current switch off, it loses its magnetic property. So that is the property of soft iron, because soft irons can easily magnetize and easily demagnetize. So here when there was a current, the Q was magnetized, but the moment when we switch off the current, the Q demagnetized the very moment. That means it is nothing but soft iron, because soft iron has the property to magnetize and demagnetize very quickly. So that we can now identify the metal P is copper, metal Q is soft iron, and metal R is steel. Hence the correct answer is option A. Question number 30. Which rod describes conventional current and electron flow in the circuit containing a cell? It's a very easy question. As you know, if you have a cell and the electrons will be always flowing from negative side of the cell to the positive side. This will be the flow of electron, or the direction of the flow of electron. And conventional current flow, we are considering just opposite of the flow of electrons. So the direction of the conventional current will be opposite of the flow of electron. So this one represent the direction of conventional current will be always from positive terminal of the battery to the negative terminal of the battery. So in first option it says the conventional current is from negative terminal of the cell. That is wrong. Again option B is also saying conventional current from the negative terminal of the cell. Again wrong. Option C, conventional current is from the positive terminal of the cell to the negative terminal of the cell. That is correct. And the electron flow, that is from the negative terminal of the cell to the positive terminal of the cell. So option C is correct. For more past paper solutions, please subscribe my channel. Thank you for watching the video.